All right, guys, happy Wednesday. Excited to bring you the Treasure Coast market update. And I'm going to pull up a screen here in just a second so you guys can see exactly what I'm seeing, right? So this is the MLS, gives us all of our data when it comes to local housing. If you look at Zillow, Realtor, Trulia, Redfin, Coldwell Banker, Remax, eXp Realty, any website, it doesn't matter. They're pulling that data most likely from what's called an IDX feed, which is connecting that site to the MLS. So you're getting data, right? How long it takes to update it, how accurate it is based on how that website is built. It's a little bit different website to website, but it's pulling from the same exact area, which is the MLS. And you know, something like Zillow, which is massive, Coldwell Banker, which is massive, eXp Realty, which is massive. They're pulling from multiple MLSs throughout the entire country, right? So they're getting a lot of different data. But this is on time. Like if I put a listing in right now, it's in. You're going to see it in a second, right? Some other websites, it might take an hour a day, whatever it is, to update you on whether or not it's active or is it sold, is it pending. This is right on the dot, man. So I put a post up today that said that inventory rates, right? The amount of homes on the market available to buyers has gone up 23.8% in 45 short days. Got a lot of comments on that, a lot of DMs. And just want to talk a little bit more about that. And I wanted to get into detail. I'm looking at things I have not looked at. It's going to be the first time that I'm looking at it with you, but I want to show you kind of how sales have looked over that same amount of time, right? So we're going to go in week by week and just look at sales so you can see exactly how many sales we've had. Are sales going up? Are sales going down? So, and we can't look at actives, right? I looked at actives 45 days ago to know how many are on, but I can't go in and look at, hey, 45 days ago, how many actives are there? Because those actives now are going to be pending or under contract or sold or, you know, whatever. They're going to be at a different status. We're not going to be able to look them up. So just know that over the last 45 days, the amount of active listings has increased 23.8% in Port St. Lucie. That's only looking at single family homes, right? I'm not looking at condos, townhouses, vacant land, anything like that. That is single family homes in the city of Port St. Lucie only. So now let's take a look. I'm going to pump. Oh, we got Port St. Lucie in here. And we're going to come down to closed. And I'm going to look at the last 7 days. Okay, so today's the 11th. Let's look at 5-4. And I'll tell you, this data is going to be skewed. It should be low. And the reason it's going to be skewed is because a lot of the closings from today and yesterday, agents haven't input them yet, right? So because they haven't input them, we can't see them quite yet. So the numbers are going to be a little bit lower. Whereas 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, realtors have gone in and updated that data. So it's going to be more accurate, right? So I want you to understand that. And again, I'm only looking at single family homes here in Port St. Lucie. And you can see that in the last 7 days, we've got 80 sales, okay? 80 sales. So now I got to go back. Oh man, how many days are in April? January, February, March. Okay, so there's 30 days. So we got the 3rd to the 30, 29, 20, 27th. So let's look 4/27, 2022 to 5/3, 2022. Let's see what that 7 day. So that 7 day had 128. That's probably a little more accurate, right? So let's see what the 7 days before that had. 128. So we're going 4/26. And let's go back to, what would that be? 4/20. Okay, so we go from 128 to 118. So sales actually picked up 2 weeks ago versus 1 week ago, right? Last week, we sold more houses, so sales went up. Okay, great. Let's keep looking. So what I'm trying to do here is see how have sales looked since the rates have gone up, because that's everybody's, I don't know, fear, or if you're a buyer, maybe it's excitement is, man, rates are going up. It's got to have an impact on sales, right? Well, dude, 3 weeks ago, we had 107 sales, even lower. We'll look at one more week here. 4/12. And what would that be? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, the 6th. So there we had 103. So literally every single week for 4 consecutive weeks, the amount of sales, the number of sales in St. Lucie, Port St. Lucie, has gone up, right? From 103 to 107 to, I can't remember the other one, to 128. That is a consistent growth. So yes, as we're seeing inventory come on, not only is inventory coming on at a greater rate and sales are coming on at a greater rate, but I'll still tell you, because that inventory amount has grown, that means even though sales have increased, the amount of properties coming on the market has increased at a greater rate, creating that higher inventory. That means we're starting to see sellers wanting to sell. I'll be honest with you, my concern personally, and this is maybe wrong, maybe not wrong. I thought, taking myself as an example, right now I've got a 2.25% rate on my mortgage. There's a lot of people that got 1s, 2s, and 3s at the beginning of their rate on their mortgage. Why would those people want to sell knowing that they're going to buy into a 6%? That's the fear. But looking at this, obviously people are, and they're doing it in masses. So we're still having plenty of buyers coming on. But now what we're seeing is this new influx of sellers, right? So I always like to look at what is being asked right now versus what is really selling in the last 30 days, right? What's really selling is going to be a lot more accurate depiction of the market, in my opinion, than what you're seeing asked. So let's look at what's being asked first. So we got 508 listings in Port St. Lucie. If we're looking at single family homes only, so again, that gets rid of townhouses, condos, all that stuff, we're down to about 449. So that's about, 10%, maybe a little bit more, that come off by getting rid of condos and townhouses. So 90% of the listings out there that I'm going to find when I look up residential are going to be single family homes. So we got 449 options. Okay, great. Where are we on price? Well, let's look at price right here. If you want to be at 250, out of the 449, you've got 12 options. And I'm pretty sure they're all in, what's it called? So, why can't I think of it now? Spanish Lakes. Yeah. So this is Spanish Lakes. This is not, okay, yeah, some of these are not. Some of these are not. But the majority of them are, right? So there you go. You got 12 options out of 449 that are 250 or less. Okay, so what if we come up to 300? Now instead of 12 options, you've got 25 options. Your options double. Now you can see, looking at the map down here, all of these green dots are exactly where these listings are. So if you're looking in the west side of 95, you want to be in Tradition, you want to be in PGA, you want to be in one of those areas on the west side of 95. Right now, under 300 grand, that is not an option. The majority of what we've got is going to be on the west side of the turnpike. And you can see kind of huddled over, Spanish Lakes, but you've also got some over here in River Park, and then they're just kind of scattered about. But you can see location-wise that there are very specific locations you're going to find these homes. Okay, let's go up to 350. And now we've got 35 more options. Again, we're doubling our options, okay? And we've got one over here on the west side of 95. And we've got one, I don't know if this is east or west of 95, way down here in the southwest corner. But you can see the majority of homes are right in this, heart of the Port St. Lucie area right here, okay? And then, of course, if we come up to 400, we go from 60 to 126. Again, we double. So every time we come up 50 grand, we double the amount of options we have. It's not easy to double your budget, though. So, just really nail down your budget. I just said this to a couple friends the other day. I see this all the time. Hey, Joe, I can afford X. We go look at X and they say, woo, those are some ugly homes. Let's up our budget. I am a fiscal conservative. You don't have to be a fiscal conservative, but I'll tell you as a father, man, as a father, as a friend, as a brother, whatever you want to view me as, I want to see you get into something, whether it's a car or a house or whatever, and I want you to be able to afford it. I want it to fit within your budget, right? So look at your budget before you go talk to a lender, before you go talk to a realtor and decide what you can afford to buy. Then go talk to a lender and say, what does that monthly payment get me in a price? That's where I'm going shopping. If that house sucks, I mean, you want to look at it realistically. What I don't want you to do is one of two things. Number one, I don't want you to overextend yourself. And now you get, a little bit better house than maybe you wanted, but you can't afford it. And in a year or two, you're calling me because you're going into foreclosure. Don't want that. Second thing I personally don't want, I do not like these. Some people may argue with me. Argue away. I'd love to see it in the comments, but I don't like ARMs. So what's an ARM? An ARM is an adjustable rate mortgage, right? And an adjustable rate mortgage, without getting into too much detail, they're going to come lower than the current rates. So the rates are more attractive. It makes your payment lower. It means you can afford more of a house, but you might be on a 3-year, 5-year, 7-year, whatever your ARM is adjustable rate mortgage. And now when you hit that end, let's say it's 5 years, boom, the rates actually go up, right? And throughout that process, that 5 years, depending upon how it's written, it might go up 1, 2, 3, whatever it is, percent throughout. So I saw someone the other day who had a 7-year arm. It was at 3.5%, and it had the ability to go up 2% a year. It couldn't go up more than 2% based on, I forget what it was, but maybe it was the LIBOR, or maybe, whatever constant it was connected to. Well, rates have gone up a lot. So next year they're going to be at 5.5. The year after, assuming we're still kind of where we're at, let's say there's no increase, they're going to be right where everybody else is at. And it didn't take them long to get there, right? So, and again, everything I'm saying, it depends on how it's written, and there's a million different ways to do it. But I've seen what ARMs do. I saw what ARMs did back in 2008, and it was a bunch of people who just thought, man, I need a nicer house than what I can afford, so I'm going to use this ARM. It's the only tool I have. I don't want the inconvenience and discomfort of, living in this house. And guys, rent, I would say renting, if you can buy, well, whether you can buy or not, renting is just as scary as an ARM. Because if you're renting for me and I'm the landlord and your current rent is $2,000 and I just decide, hey, now it's $2,800. You either pay $2,800 or you have to go move and maybe everything's $2,800 now, right? If you look at this market, a lot of people were paying $900, $1,000, $1,100, $1,200. That's not an option anymore unless you're living with somebody, which a lot of people don't want to do either, right? Rents kind of start around that $1,700, $1,800, $1,900 range, and those rentals don't tend to be overly attractive. If that happens overnight, you can't impact that. You can't do anything about that. You either have to rent another one. Oh, by the way, you've got to do the moving and you got to get the moving costs and everything else involved, or you've got to pay the piper and you got to do whatever it is they want. If you own, like in my house, my principal will never go up. My interest will never go up. My taxes are capped because I'm homestead. So they'll go up. I guarantee it. It's the government, but they're going to go up at a reasonable amount. And yes, my insurance could go up. But even if my insurance goes up $3,600 a year, which is crazy in this market, maybe it's not. That's $300 a month. It's not $500, $800, $1,000. It's not doubling my payment. It's a reasonable amount. It's something I control. So, guys, if you can buy, I really strongly suggest looking into it. I just looked with someone else the other day too, yesterday. Does it make sense in this market to buy? What if the prices come down? Guys, the prices would not only have to come down, they'd have to come down considerably, and you would have to time it perfectly, and you'd have to hope the rates don't continue to go up for it to make sense for you not to pay someone else's mortgage instead of your own, right? Because it's not just the price, it's also all the appreciation you're paying for. Like I told my wife, the value of our home literally, and we've only been here a year, it could be cut in half, right? We'd be upside down, but my payment won't change. And in any 10-year span, I did a piece the other day. It was from 06, the very peak of the market, to 16. And that was the worst 10-year span I could find. You were still making money. You still had equity over a 10-year span. So if you're thinking short term, if you're thinking a year, 2 years, hey, you're taking a risk. You're taking a risk with anything. You're taking a risk with renting. You're taking a risk with buying. Everything you do is a risk. But if you're looking long term over a 10-year span, I'm not saying you can't lose, but I will say if you do, it'd be the first time ever over a 10-year span that somebody would lose on real estate, right? So looking at these numbers, I just thought it'd be great to share this and allow you to see some of the numbers that we've got there. If you guys have any questions, we're getting near the end of this video here. If you pop them on, great. Whether you're looking at Facebook, whether you're watching us on YouTube. But if you've got questions after this live, go put them in here. I watch the comments all the time. I will absolutely get back to you, whether it's in the comments or privately, and I'll answer your questions. If you've got new topics you want me to look up and next week, just put them down there and we'll gladly do that. Other than that, guys, I hope you have an absolutely phenomenal